guys as well, and they're going to experiment with a district Discord server. So the entire district will have one Discord server, and they'll parse it out by schools and things like that. It's pretty neat. A couple of the IT guys did work with Doc Haskell down in Boise State, so they're pretty familiar with like ggleap and things like that. So they potentially are going to look into that aspect as well, and essentially manage all the schools under one license type deal. So it'll be interesting how they do it, but there'll be a good experiment for all the other schools to be like, or other school districts if they want a full send from the district itself. So um, I think almost every one of the coaches in Boise is new to this. Like they play video games or they're the computer teacher, most of them, but they're not every single one of them is very in tune. So I think they're going to need a little bit of hand holding. So I told him, I said, look out for January, stuff like that. So,
Perfect.
um, yeah, but Boise's ready to go, and I think that'll be very exciting. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's what I got on my report for those.
Awesome. Okay, talked about that. Website updates. So I'm going through and just updating stuff as I find it. So if you guys see any changes that need to be made, send them my way. I did connect everything so that then a school or anybody could go onto our idahoesports.gg and they could see all of the different schools' League OS profiles. And as you guys, like I sent out that email, if you're adding schools, let me know and I'll go and add them into the website. Once we get API access, I'd imagine that's going to go a lot slicker. Like I'll be able to automate it, but right now I'm having to do it by hand. So that's nothing too big. Yes, I think that's what I got for the website.
I'm gonna have to. I just realized I was looking at the rules today. And I didn't see the Mario Kart ones, and I realized that's because that's my fault. So I'll have to get the ones. I'm looking at the. I think is it the NGCAA? Is that one we want to pull from, or do we want to use like Generations Esports? What's one that we've used
Be right back.
as a base?
Hey, how's it going?
We've used HSCL, but Gen Esports, any one of them. I think
Open up, guys.
I
Yeah,
know
they said it
for
opened up.
for me for like Apex, I just took what the pro rules were.
Yeah, that's all I did.
Yeah.
Just go for 530.
Basically, find the ones you like the most and tweak it how you see fit. So, how many
Sounds good.
players are on a Mario Kart team?
January, we might
4.
4. Okay. They were asking, and I was like, I'm not sure if it was like 4 or 3, so I'll reach out. So.
Yep, 4v4, and you probably already know this, but that requires 2 switches.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I told. I think they're ready to go with that kind of aspect to it. So, but I was like, yeah, the middle schools were like, how much was Rocket League per team? And I was like, I can't remember how many players are on it. I was like, you'll have to forgive me. So,
Nice.
I was like, I'll let you guys know when I get that. So.
No. Okay. Cool. All right, thank you, sir. All right,
So
bye.
I'll get those websites to Dalton, or
right,
those
everyone good?
updates to Dalton then,
Okay.
Nice.
so that we can get those added to it.
All right. All right. Sorry, they finally found a solution for us. That's not great, but we use ClassWise, and yeah, we're still figuring it out. Don't know if you guys have that. They applied the mobile agent or the computer agent to all my computers today. So
very good.
Yeah.
Of course they did.
Yeah. Once we figure out the solution, I'm totally going to post it on our website of, hey, IT, this is how you set it up for your students. Okay, cool. Did I miss anything?
I did have a question on website stuff, Dalton.
Yeah.
I'm an English teacher.
Okay.
So if I find any grammar errors, you okay if I send those to you?
100%.
Okay.
If you're even into it, I can show you how to edit them. You'd have to get a program called Visual Studio Code and GitHub, and we can get you all sorted out. And that applies to the rest of you guys. And for the recording that I'm doing right now, if anyone is interested in helping us with the website, we are always open to that. I will get you trained up and ready to go. You can get some real world experience because I require lots of stuff that are good practice for GitHub. So
I might actually have a guy for that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll reach out to him.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a kid, it could be an adult, it could be whatever. And if they know workflow, like more power to them. We just have to pay attention to how much we're updating because we only get so many minutes for free. So, yes. All right. On that note, moving on to anything else for reports. Do we have any other reports that we got? Hearing none. Moving on to new business. I kind of just talked about it recording this. My thought is to try and improve our public visibility. And actually, I guess David is listed on here. I'm going to change the attendance. Let's just put it as guests. David Palmer. It's obviously not perfect right now, but we'll figure that out eventually of how to make it so that people can watch but not necessarily talk. My thought is if we start super transparent and we set the baseline of we are transparent, like people can watch our board meetings, they can do whatever. Should we all leave? There's the baseline of no, this is how transparent you are. For everybody, as well as I think it makes it nice so that anybody can be like, oh, what is Idaho Esports all about, and they can literally go watch our board meeting minutes if they really want to. I would probably find them boring if I wasn't involved, but that way people can be like, oh, these are the conversations they have.
And I feel like at least you guys are handsome, right? So
yeah. I mean, you just got the looks going for us, and yeah.
And I feel like at the very least, there's people that it's like, yeah, there's a boatload of information and people who just like knowing everything, even if they know that it's early stages of everything, that I think it would be easy just to be like, all right, here's how it goes. Know that it's a shifting thing, and I'm not emailing districts that shall not be named, Boise, constantly with updates and things like that. So.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that's just that. I wanted to get out there just so you guys know why. So I'll be posting it on the Discord, and then I'll also put the link, and I think we can use the same Google Meets link over and over again. We'll have that for, we'll have that just consistent, and I'll have it on Discord, and I'll update it on our website of when we're meeting next, and have a link to our agenda, and blah, 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 because I do put the minutes on the website. Not that anyone ever watches it or looks at them.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So one thing that we were talking about at one point was the separation of Timber League and Potato League based on school size. It probably has to do something with how many teams we have sign up for a specific game. Let's see. Initial follow-up survey results and league split doc. Nate.
Yes, I've got updates for this. So that'll probably help us here. So let me move you guys here so it's a little easier to share my screen or my doc. I love ultra wides. It's the feature. Best monitors. Let's see.
I dual screen.
I also dual screen, but I have an ultra wide.
Dual screen with ultra wides.
I'm not allowed to share my screen, Dalton.
Oh, whoops. Oh no. Okay. I thought I could turn it on so that you guys had permissions, but apparently that is a lie.
Yeah, as you can. So
you should be able to now.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll share this one. So here is the initial results. I've taken the survey results and I'm starting to separate them into a Mountain League, Pacific League, and I'm trying to separate the middle schools for you. So then that way we can see kind of that and how many teams are with that. So this is updated as of yesterday. Today, both you, Dalton, and Soda Springs put in theirs, but they'll both be in the Pacific League, so which is good. So currently we have 12 teams in the Mountain League, which I know that it's probably going to increase because there's a bunch of teams that haven't answered the follow-up yet, which is okay. So I just had the school head coach, and then I took that initial from the first survey, how many teams for each game the schools will have, and then also made a couple educated guesses. So I'm gonna parse out the numbers here, but the most is Rocket League. A fair amount of people are blacked out with Valorant. Super Smash Bros. Is crazy. Apex is going to perfectly split us with that combined Mountain and Pacific League kind of schedule that we have set with that. So League of Legends, there's a few schools that are running the League of Legends teams, which is good. And quite a few Overwatch 2 teams as well. So we currently have 12 in Mountain. Pacific is at 13 now once I add both Sandpoint and Soda here. And then, middle school right now, currently, we're looking at a total of 5 teams so far.
Oh, I need to put Sandpoint in there, but
Okay.
And we also need to add Taylorview.
Taylorview. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Taylorview. There we go.
I need
Taylorview is
to.
in my district.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna redo that and kind of go through that first survey as well and kind of parse out some of that because I know some people will answer one and not the other. So, um, with this, I know we were talking initially about splitting up big school, small school. We could definitely still do that. I think with the Mountain League and the Pacific League, we're seeing a good 50-50 split that we may be able to potentially avoid that, or at least still do it, and it may be less of a big school, small school, and just go like first time schools and maybe schools that are run by students and things like that. But I look at something like Ryrie, and they've committed 2 teams for Smash and Valorant, and I don't see why we can't slap them together, especially because it's a 6-week long season, and then still put them all in the same bracket. But obviously, yeah, parsing out and figuring out that kind of stuff. So I'm still down to do that. But right now it's a pretty 50-50 split because the Pacific League also includes all the schools that are getting out after 3:30 p.m.
okay.
or have players that are also playing at home.
Okay.
So then that way they have the later start time to allow kids to get home. So the Mountain League is specifically just schools that end before 3:30.
Okay.
So it actually is
Oh,
coming
3:30
out to
Mountain.
be
Yeah.
3:30 Mountain. So it actually is turning out to be a pretty good 50-50 split.
Okay.
So which allows that flexibility. So and then obviously I know if Pacific, if you guys have kids that are playing from home, you'll just have to let your teams know, because I think we have like a couple Pacific teams so far. I think that's as much as we have, but yeah, it's not a crazy amount. So
Just so I can follow up with my guys here, I didn't see if you had Skyline, Idaho Falls, or Compass Academy on there.
no,
They should be in the. They should be high school teams from my district. I just need to make sure I follow up with them if they haven't done it.
yeah, I haven't seen them on the second survey yet. So I haven't gone through the first survey yet and added all the teams that haven't I haven't talked to yet. This is just teams that have responded to the second survey,
Okay.
because that's
I'll harp
allowing
on
me
them
to.
about that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna send out a follow-up email to all the coaches again and resend it back out to Boise and things like that. So I know, I guess I should have added that to my report. Timberline was the last of the Boise schools to get a coach, and they just hired a coach yesterday.
Okay.
So they're finally having a coach and getting that. So, and I'm gonna reach out to Hawaii and Rocky and get them to fill out the information. And Nampa hasn't responded yet and things like that. So I know there's still a lot of gaps, but it's looking like we're probably gonna have a good 50-50 split.
Nice.
Which is good. So, obviously we could go through and look at that division and things like that, but I think there's a possibility that we won't need to do that, and then we can keep the district brackets the same, Mountain League versus Pacific League, and just take the top 4 from both those leagues. So that way we have a top 8 in states or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that way the brackets are smaller, but then they'll end up playing it against each other, and maybe there's still a chance of those smaller schools going in. So
Right.
because the majority of those small schools are in the Pacific League
Okay.
that I've noticed. So
Sandpoint's going to state.
yeah, but you also have Valley View in yours, and you also have
literally
let's see.
all we're gonna. I think all we're gonna. Well,
You
we,
also
we
have
might do Rocket
Rigby,
League and then.
Oh yeah, Rigby.
You have Rigby. You guys have Ryrie in there. You have
Dude,
Middleton.
Romney knows how to
Valley
run
View.
a program. Holy
Alright.
cow.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Ryrie, or not Ryrie, Rigby is also bringing a Rigby Middle and Farnsworth Middle School.
Yep. I
Yep.
saw those.
So yeah, so they'll get in there and yeah. So basically, from what I'm looking, and this is like 2 days worth of survey results, and we're already at 15 high school and 4 or 5 middle school. Like, and those are only going to come in more once people kind of figure it out and get the information. Like, we're looking at a big league this year, which is going to be pretty fun.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
That's exciting.
and yeah, my kind of notes on this as well is for the scheduling, I'll take on potentially figuring out the initial schedule and kind of massaging that if you guys want me to.
So League OS
Is it
handles
gonna do it
that.
auto?
Yeah,
Okay.
like we have to do each match individually,
Okay.
like each what not match, sorry, each they call it
Season?
round. They call it
Oh,
each
yeah.
round, and I kind of like the idea of us not having the entire season like from day one, just so that then if I'm not saying that any schools are dropping, but let's say Frank Church drops,
Mhm.
we can get them out of that running so that then we can kind of
Yeah.
adapt it, and we're
Mhm.
not just like, oh, sorry, they dropped at one point in time like 3 weeks ago, so you just
Yeah.
don't have a match today.
I think I
Yeah.
think
And
doing
we
kind
can
of
do it right. Like as soon as the our due time is, we can
Yeah.
run it so they have a week to scout,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
But that way it's kind of a little more dynamic, and we can respond. Because I think one thing too that we're going to have to take into account is, and we're going to need, and I thought about this after the fact of you sending this out, was spring breaks, because we were talking about how do we adapt for the spring break. We actually I think we said we made the season 7 weeks long,
Yeah.
but we're giving everyone a bye week, and
Yeah.
so and they get to choose when that bye week is.
And I think that'll be a little bit easier. I think a lot of that information will be easier to parse out in January when we have that initial first meeting and we make sure everybody and anybody gets invited and we're like, here, fill out the survey right now,
right.
and basically it's this one with stuff like that. So, yeah, I've thought about that and looked into that, and I was like, I think that'll be pretty nice just to kind of fill that in. But my kind of thought was, is there a way for us to, if a school has two teams or whatever, like match two teams against schools that have two teams as well, so in that way we're only playing one school at a time, or is it still going to be kind of
Not from what I saw. It sounds like
Okay.
we can do manual scheduling. However, that
Okay.
was some of our reason of going
no, totally,
League OS. Is
Yeah.
we were like
Don't have
we'd
to do
love to, but
Yeah.
if we have 30 teams in Super Smash Bros,
yeah,
that's going to take us some time to push
totally.
through it.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I think I was like that'd be kind of nice, but I know that it's also kind of fun to play two different schools, so that way I could play as many schools as possible, right? So it's like, oh yeah, my JV team may be playing Sandpoint, and my varsity team won't get to see them, but then we could kind of still watch that tape back, and stuff like
Right.
that. So yeah,
Okay, so you had
Perfect.
that was that, and then match
Yeah.
scheduling. Yeah, we talked about that. And so we can figure that out.
Totally.
Next one that we had on the list was pro players.
Yes.
So a definition of pro.
I think what I would maybe potentially consider is
Or do we want to start with like restrictions and stuff like that on pro players, and then we can build our definition off that of like who should not be eligible?
Yeah, I think we could build our definition off. I think we should work on restrictions, because my kind of thought process is, if a student has earned um, X amount of dollars in officially sanctioned events or whatever, right? That could be a good um, stipulation for a pro player type deal, because
Does scholarship money count? I'm thinking like or HSEL. I think at least one point in time they did scholarships for teams that won. I don't know if they still do that, but it was one thing that's come up before. And I know some colleges, they will offer, hey, if you win our tournament, you get $250 to our school. Like, it's a drop in the bucket, but it's still technically winning.
I think scholarships should count towards it, because that is money, that is financial compensation for performance, which I feel is the definition of what it means to be a professional in anything, is getting financial compensation for your performance.
Yeah, see, I was going to argue the other way, because I think if it's scholarship, it's obviously coming from a place like HSCL or even Boise State or things like that. And to the extent those tournaments are restricted to high school level kids that are,
That's fair, yeah.
they potentially even have a pro stipulation already in that. And, you know, yeah, and it's a targeted audience, and anybody and everybody, as long as you're a high school student player or a high school player, can join. And usually there's not a buy-in. My thought process is if they've competed in an officially sanctioned from the game tournament or things like that, and they've earned prize money, to the tune of at least $1,000 or something like that, um, and they've in the past year, I think then they should probably be not allowed to play for the season. I think like it should be in the previous year if they've earned revenue, like because my thought process is in pro level tournaments, earning at least $1,000 usually means that you've made it pretty far, which I would consider pro level, right? Anything lower than that is kind of just for fun, petty cash, and those tournaments are smaller tournaments hosted by orgs or things like that that I don't consider pro tournaments. Um, because I know for like Apex, just going back to that because that's what I know. If you finish in 80th overall, something like that, you get $1,000, and like that's 80th out of the entire world. Like, and that's a pro player, like.
Yeah.
And I think for 1 year, so then that way, if a student does really want to play in the high school level, they just have to take a year off without any pro play, and then they can come back. I think that would be fair.
I'd like to amend my position. I stand completely with Nate. No, your point on scholarships makes 100% perfect sense to me. I'm with you. And $1,000 over the course of a year was actually the same number I was thinking.
Yeah. And do we want to do it like in like collectively or $1,000 in one tournament? Like, because my other thought too is like if you win, 200 $5 tournaments,
What if we did it as 1,000 in 1 year or 2,000 total? Because then that would indicate kind of like 2 years as a pro, and at that point, probably we don't want them competing in a high school league.
Yeah.
For the past year in a specific game. I mean, I don't know. I start to go like kind of in the direction of like, yeah, you can play pro. Yes, play Minecraft. My kind of thing starts to go to that. Like, you only have 4 years of high school play, and like if you're a middle schooler, and I actually have had a middle schooler that competed in the worlds for Fortnite, and he did good. Like, and he won like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it was like $2,000 or 2,500 or something like that. And he was interested until I told him this specific thing of like, yep, sorry, you can't play, your game for the school because you won too much money. Like,
Yeah.
maybe you got lucky, maybe you actually are that good. I mean, for my school, he was that good, but in the world of things, like, and so I know for him it was kind of a bummer, and so I'm kind of more in the idea of just in the past year. So hey, I want to play for my school. All right, I'm gonna kick back. Admittedly, if they're into the game, they're gonna keep up the level of ability. So it's not like we're suddenly like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
And then I'd almost argue towards like anyone that's signed, like I've never seen it, but is signed with a with a pro team.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say is if they are signed with that at least a what is it, a tier C, tier B, something like that. There's like the major leagues. I think that's like tier A orgs. Then there's tier B orgs, which are your kind of minor leagues, and then there's like another league underneath that. I think I would say at least tier like the second tier, tier 2 or whatever. I can't remember the official language of it, but there's like the alternative orgs. They're not your TSMs or T1s or anything. They're your like ones run by the YouTubers and stuff like that. I think if you're signed to a team that isn't just your haha for friends, I'm the expired catch ups,
oh right, yeah.
then
Yeah.
if you're signed to an org and you're getting money from an org, you're a pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could agree to all that.
All right, so restrictions. So I'd say they're ineligible for that gain. So if they want, like, if I have an
yeah.
Overwatch player that wants to, like, he's pro Overwatch and he wants to go and play Valorant, and he's not in Valorant, have fun, buddy. Like, that way he can still stay involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They redshirt freshmen.
Yeah.
So what I'm calling my practice team.
Compete
My redshirt freshman.
in that specific game.
Yeah.
They are allowed to compete in a game. They are not considered a pro.
Are we gonna consider? Do we want to add on this like games? Like, can a pro CS:GO player or CS2 player play Valorant?
I would say so. There is a different dynamic between those two.
There,
Like
I mean, there
the
is.
abilities
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
that. What are they doing? Oh, fine. They want the RGB lights.
Oh.
Because they're like, meh. What color should I do for them?
Pink.
R.
What? Pink.
Do pink.
Yeah.
Nice.
There we go.
I need that.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty slick. I want that in my room.
That's pretty sweet.
Oh, I can also turn this on so I'm better lit. But anyway, I think that's worse. All right, so were you saying something?
Similar type games.
Oh yeah, I could see it with CS:GO and CS2,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
but like just because you're a pro in an FPS doesn't mean you're a pro in all FPS.
Totally. Yeah. I was just thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, there may be someone that complains if it ever came up. Oh, this person is a pro CS2 player, and now they're playing Valorant. Like, that's not fair. And it's like, well, it's actually a different game.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the mechanics
Mhm.
are the exact same, and it's a similar game type, but there's
It's
abilities
different
now.
enough. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
and I guess I'd start thinking like going your way of if we had. We're not going to change games halfway through though. Like I'm thinking like if we had
Totally.
Modern Warfare 3 and then they come out with Modern Warfare 57.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like we're going to be like, oh, we're also going to offer Modern Warfare 57. Like we're going to have one or the other,
Yeah. Totally.
and then we can adjust from there.
So then, do we want to word it that? So I want to make sure I understand because I'm like what Nate was saying. Like if they're pro in CS:GO, do we allow CS2 because those are like the same game, or is it? As I making sure I understand, my brain is completely fried, guys. I ran a tournament for 7 schools on
geez.
Saturday. And I'm
Yes.
just I've blown some circuits.
Yeah, try
You're
stuff.
And so if they're pro at CS:GO, but then we have like a game like Valorant or Overwatch that has abilities and is significantly
yeah.
different.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
That one's okay.
Yeah.
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 I think the CS:GO CS2.
I think a perfect example is if they're pro in Overwatch and they want to play Overwatch 2, that's
same
probably
thing.
not that's the same thing. But if they're pro in CS2 and they want to play Valorant, it's a different enough game that
Or
Mhm.
yeah.
What if we were to word it then like a specific game series,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? That way we don't have people like, well, you don't have it in your rules
Yeah, totally.
because
Totally.
I have a coach in my district that would do that.
Oh, for sure.
Mhm.
I think I played half those coaches in last year's districts. I think I would be that coach. I am that coach. Let's be real here. If you give me a
Well, at least
loophole,
you're
I
honest.
will abuse it. Yeah.
Dude, if I have a pro player on my school, like I haven't met him.
yeah,
Well,
same.
I think the other reason why I said that year too is because I'm in the same boat as you, Dalton. I have like 3 kids that have been asking me every like minute they can, when are you adding Fortnite? When are you adding Fortnite? Because they played back in middle school. They made like
Oh right.
$10,000 in like a Fortnite
jeez.
tournament. Like they went far,
Hey,
and I was like, I don't want to borrow them because they're going to be seniors in high school next year.
Yeah, and admittedly,
they
like for
played in
oops,
8th
yeah.
grade.
Admittedly, for me, like I want to get them in the total correct terminology for coaching for this, but I'm just gonna call it exposed to
Yeah.
the college coaches. Like I want,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
we want this to be a
give them the best
showcase.
chance.
So yeah, these kids are pro. They had to take a year off so that now, and that I think
Totally.
I think we I guess we can look at if NACE has a Oh, I actually sent that of the NACE
Yeah,
professional.
they don't.
Oh, I thought
Or they do, but it's pretty lenient because one of the school that won Smash Bros. He is a ranked Smash player.
they did. Yeah, but that
But he was
finishing,
not in
that
like
finish.
top 10. Oh my god, the finish was so sad. But it was he was he's not in like the top like 25 or I can't
okay.
remember. It's a pretty high bar that they set, but he was like in the top 100, you
Okay.
know, for like and
Yeah,
Yeah.
but to be fair, if you're top 100 for Smash, you're only making $100.
yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
It is. It is not a place to make money in Smash.
Right.
Nope. So
Okay. Allowance.
I would say
Do we want to have the ability to appeal?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I would say, you know, if you have a kid that plays in $100 tournaments and wins those,
Right.
they should be allowed to play, right? Because
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider them a pro. They've just played in $100 tournaments that usually have a $10 buy-in, you know. And there may be pros that play in that league, but anybody can join it type
Right.
deal. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So teams may appeal. Okay. May appeal to IEA. Okay. Cool. Anything
Nice.
else on pro players that you think we need to cover?
nope.
All right, so we'll
That
get that
covers it.
added. We'll add that into. Oh, actually, I guess we should accept these definitions, or we could leave it to reflect on until January, just to look through it and make sure we actually agree with
Yeah.
everything that we said.
And that could be
Yeah.
something that I don't know if this is opening the can of worms, but it could be something worth sending out as a vote to all the coaches.
Or just
Be like-
bringing them in on the conversation.
Yeah,
Just
do
saying,
you
"Hey."
guys feel comfortable with this number? Do you feel comfortable with this definition?
Yeah.
Right? And see if we can massage it there, you know, because
Yeah.
I'm the loophole guy and I'm making the rules, like, and I can't think of all the loopholes. Someone's
Yeah.
gonna find another loophole, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, we'll just table that. I think technically that's what's vote on it. I think we're all agreed that we'll just table it and kind of leave it on there, and then come our welcome back, maybe we do.
That's what I was gonna say. Don't we have
There you
a
go.
full coach meeting in January?
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna cover that in a few points. But yeah, we can bring it up with them then and be like, hey, this is what we're looking at for doing pro player, because, you know, hey, if we find out that there's 5 teams that suddenly would have ineligible teams, like, okay, maybe we can modify it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Tech Connections, ITC.
Okay, so ITC is a company out of Boise, and it's the one that my school district has used for all of our stuff. They're an HP group, and the guy Andy, he worked with Doc Haskell when they were getting set up there. He was the HP rep that helped out Haskell.
Oh, getting all the omen stuff.
So I was talking to Andy, and I was like, "Hey, could we put you on our website and you know, like have kind of like, hey, this is the official group that supports the IEA, and then if somebody comes there talking to you about wanting to do esports, you say, hey, IEA is the esport organization we're affiliated with."
Okay.
We didn't talk any money. We just talked because I didn't have any figures or anything there, but I just talked to him about that. I sent him an email, and he replied within like 30 minutes, and he was jacked. So he's fully on board with it. They're prepared to give us banners and stuff. That's why I was asking for sizes that we could put onto our website showing our connection to the ITC. They have donated. They've donated $5,000 to my district over the last 2 years,
Wow.
and have committed. They verbally committed to something like 20 grand worth of equipment. Once
wow.
we establish once we build an arena for District 91, they've committed to giving the equipment to fill it out.
Wow.
So,
hey, remind me to send you.
So I would like to apply for District
Yeah, I
91.
want that too.
Uh,
Can I have that too?
dude, you have no idea. Like, the head IT guy was the one who brought it here. And he is, you know, we're being supported here at D91. He's literally taking money out of the IT budget and setting it aside for esports because our district isn't supporting it yet.
Oh, wow.
It is the IT that
Yeah,
makes it
nice.
happen here. Like,
That's
dude,
awesome.
Tito is
Nice.
amazing.
Okay.
And I will second that. I mean, with Boise getting involved and kind of doing it in way. It's attracted West Ada, and they'll bring Nampa and stuff like that with them. So I think there's a potential ball rolling. Remind me to send you the info or our rep for Spectrum Industries. This was another one that we could add on that. They do furniture. They're the ones that outfitted Boise State, and their main focus is esports related furniture, but they're expanding into other classroom related furniture. So could be cool ways to get schools connected to them. And
Yeah, that'd be
the guy
super
came
cool.
out, flew out to my classroom, and measured my classroom, and is working up on a 3D mock-up for my classroom on what a esports arena could look like at BK.
That's
So
cool as
that
heck.
I could pitch, and he did it for free. Came out,
Nice.
just did it. They're
Awesome.
going to be at IETA. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
You said Spectrum Furniture or something like that?
Spectrum Industries.
Industries.
Yeah. So they're so nice, and they're like 1,000% on board with esports, and they're supplying all of Boise School District as well with furniture
Okay.
and stuff.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
That's cool.
Actually, it's weird that you bring up like building an arena. I was like sitting out here. I was like, what would it take to build an esports arena? Like we just bring in all this, like all the schools just come to Sandpoint, and so, or I was like,
Dude, I'm
what
there.
if we have like IEA locations all around throughout the state, and it's just supported by, but no, that is a long ways out,
If we want to do that, I will put D91 on that list
right?
because I'm currently also the director for the program. So I'm like,
Hey, there
I
you go.
can just
Hey,
say
there you
yes.
Right.
yeah, and Doc Haskell as well in terms of tech connections. He got very inspired by. I don't know if you guys saw the clip on ESPN of what Michigan
the
did
Michigan
for
one.
their Michigan one.
Yeah.
The Michigan State coaches that were there at the NACE championships were the ones that put that on for the college
Okay.
kids.
Yeah.
And I talked with them because I think about doing an exhibition type thing in my gym because my principal or the president of the school wants me to do something like that. And I talked to Doc Haskell. He's like, "Let me know. I'm there. I'll send my crew. We'll
Alright.
help you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that." So
That's
I
cool.
think Idaho, U of I, bet you will be in similar boats, and ISU
Yep.
will be in similar boats of wanting to help put on something like that because it was big money for Michigan State to do something
Oh, I
like that.
bet.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, since we're on this kind of thing, I just threw this into the agenda because our agenda is always living document.
Yeah.
I put a sponsorships and stuff. I started building out a very rough approach of maybe what we ask, and do not hold that anything close to what is actually going to happen. But I was just trying to like run through like different ideas, and this is all very up to change, I guess is the best term. I was trying to come up with pricing, and because I think sometimes that's nice to know, and then what we can give in return. A lot of this was motivated by NACE because I watched all the stuff on Twitch, and so I don't know everything that happened in person because. Whoa. Oh, your your motion lights. Yeah, this is definitely open. It's definitely not solidified in any way, shape, or form. Basically, starting at $250 and just building its way up from there.
Totally.
I don't know, but yeah, my adopt a state sustenance drop. Sustenance drop was basically like, hey, we need food for these kids that are playing at state, so
Yeah.
you can sponsor
That's
one
great.
of our food things, and then adopt a state qualifying team, and you get like logo on their stuff, and yeah, I don't know. I was word puking mostly. So something that we can look at and continue to work on, just so that you guys have a link to it.
Totally.
Moving on from that though, because that just needs a lot of work. IETA. So I think everyone's been on that conversation. We're working on this, looking at this.
The cat is screaming.
Yeah.
Dalton, I'm gonna add something under that link of
100%. Do it.
my underwriter, what mine looks like, just so if
Go
you
for
want
it.
to copy the.
Yep. And we can change stuff as we need.
I was gonna say we have some official things for sponsorship here at D91 that we've been using.
Okay.
So I'll bring those over to us so
Okay.
that we can
Perfect.
compare and contrast.
Yeah, our district is pretty much no. So we get donations randomly. Okay, so yeah, IETA. So when I last looked at them, it looked like their low-level tier kind of was filled up, so their second level tier was available, which was like $2,500. I emailed them and they responded back a whole bunch, and then crickets. Admittedly, I haven't tried to restart the conversation, but yes. One thing that so I actually found out about this from Bytespeed. They're out of Michigan or something like that, and they build like equipment and machines, and they have helped with a whole bunch of stuff. Um, they actually asked if they could put our stuff on their website as just like places to look at, like they have a list of like, here's the esports opportunities in Idaho, and so I sent them our very basic information. And so if you look at their website under esports stuff, under the states, Idaho, we're the first one that pops up.
Nice.
It goes us, HSEL, and then NATAF or whatever their name is. So they were wondering about having like putting us on the stuff that they're handing out. It's not like it's any type of sponsorship, per my understanding. I don't know. Let's see. Let me go find stuff from him.
I always hate the getting paid in exposure, but this could be a good bait and exposure opportunity if there's no sponsorship, but just having our name out there.
Right.
Yeah.
The one parent that got me connected with Boise School District, she also serves, I think, on the board or is somehow connected to the IETA board for here in Treasure Valley. That's the and he or she shared me the name of the like kind of head of Treasure Valleys, which is the email I sent all of
Right.
us. So she was kind of making it sound like, yeah, we're definitely going to be there type deals, and
Okay.
we'll just have to figure out what we want to do with them. So
Let me.
I think could be worth it if we could potentially doing a talk that isn't necessarily a why esports or anything like that, but it's like, hey, administrators, coaches, schools, here's how you get it started and
Yeah.
what it looks like to get it started here in Idaho. I think because that's essentially what I hosted last night for Boise, and that has been a huge thing, and um, it could be a good opportunity for us just to kind of be like, hey, here's how you get it started. Join us this year if you've already got it.
Right.
But because I think for us and kind of what I've learned from talking with Boise and with Spectrum Industries and things like that is um, it's not about convincing admin that you should have a team. It's convincing admin that the investment's going to be worth it. And I think if we have kind of just here's how you set it up and why this investment is worth it,
Mm-hmm.
it could be really good. And talk about how you could do it as an individual school and use, District 91 in Boise and things like that on how you could do it as an entire district if you want to full send it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if we should be trying to buy a spot.
yeah.
So.
I think at the very least we should try to get in, and I think we wouldn't have to pay for a spot. I think they'll want us. They want us there. So
Okay. Yeah. So if we did get a spot, I'm guessing we'd have to we'd have to print some literature and stuff like that, just as handouts, handout stuff.
We could also make sure we have like QR codes and have some nice
Right.
digital stuff.
Yep.
'Cause I know when I go to these sorts of things, I don't like to carry around papers.
and
Right.
it's close enough to my school. I think the conference is over at Boise State. I could bring a couple gaming PCs and chairs.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the whole thing of I don't know if you guys saw the Discord message happening of like, oh, there's a tournament happening at this event of like high school kids.
Yeah, I didn't see
And-
that.
Okay, so yeah, there's a tournament happening, and I was like, "This
Yeah.
is news. Who's playing?" And I like asked,
Yeah.
we're asking around, and like, Mountain View was like, "Oh yeah, one of my I had a kid come up to me and was like, hey, we're putting together an esports team, blah 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 blah." And so we think that's it because like there's like a BPA esports thing that's going on, and I looked at it and I'm like, my kids be so out. It's like the first thing you have to do is a research essay. And then you compete, and then you do more with the research essay. And I was like, nope, I'm
Gross.
not.
We might as well run farming.
Hey, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa! Don't let's not hate on farming.
Hey, farming simulator is the greatest esport. It's great.
Right?
We're adding XL next year.
Yeah, right. So I think Valhalla I think that's their name now, is trying to get there, and then Generation Esports is trying to get there. Unfortunately, Peyton is gone. If you knew him from
Yeah.
Generation E, he got a job working on data with equestrians, so like with
Interesting.
horses and stuff. And I was like, that talk about a sudden job change right there.
That is horrible news. I did not know that.
Yeah,
He's been my guy.
yeah, they have a new guy. He seems pretty chill, but
Nice.
I just liked Peyton, so.
Yeah.
Not
Either
that-
way,
not that we
I'm gonna
interact
try to
much,
be
but-
there.
Yeah.
I'm
actually-
gonna definitely be there. So
I got it approved, so I just
Nice.
gotta figure out.
I got mine approved 2 days ago.
Yeah,
yeah, my IT department's thinking about trying to make it out there, so I'm just gonna tag along with them.
yeah.
Hey, my IT department's going. That's how I got approved. So
Nice.
you can just tell them, hey, District 91's going. Do you want to get showed up by a rural district?
Yeah.
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 I can make something work. I don't think we have a group going, but Burley's close enough. I could drive that way.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
All right. So it sounds like our districts maybe are paying for it, so we don't need to borrow any money.
Yep.
So yeah, we should get polo shirts.
We should.
We had this conversation. Figure that out. Yes. All right.
I still stand by lime green, so we stand out.
Just can't be black and orange. That's the IT standard, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Okay. And staying on the same thing. So yeah, we can keep talking to ITA and see if we can figure something out. It sounds like Nate, you might have an end, so
Yeah.
feel free to keep that conversation going. I'm supposed to meet up with Dan, but he's been busy. He is from his school that we reached out to because they're like, we have a pro player. And then I looked at the names closer, and it sounds like it's his kid. So we'll see. All right, and
Yeah,
then yeah,
Oh, I was just say, yeah, I'll follow up that conversation with the one email, the
Okay.
one person, and stuff like that about us going.
Okay.
So
okay.
yeah,
By Blue Light, I had a meeting with them yesterday. They seemed pretty chill. They kind of listened to all of my I wasn't sure if I could trust you guys because some of your stuff was like setting off cybersecurity red flags for me. Of like not having much of a media presence and yada yada yada. But they seemed pretty, pretty into it. I went and checked out, I think it was NCEE, and they actually have them listed as a, partner type deal. There is I linked the partnership deck in there. Long story short, they're customized. If you get them non-prescription, we can get to down to $50 per pair. And then prescription you can get for 126. What I thought was interesting is they were talking about how they're trying to convince the Missouri legislator to approve blue light glasses as a for being used for insurance use. They can pay with insurance money to pay for those. They're trying to put it through the legislator right now. My optometrist cousin-in-law wasn't super they can be great for helping with your circadian rhythm, but pretty much everything else is unfounded. And so I don't know if it's just it's not necessarily snake oil. It has a potential use. But yeah, I mean, admittedly, I don't know. I think kids would be psyched if we got them blue light frames or blue light glasses. We'd be like, oh yeah. They talked about how one of their schools have they have a bunch of schools apparently, colleges, that they have away glasses and home glasses, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Wow.
But they got me this mock-up within 24 hours, and so they were on it. I don't know if they were just trying to impress me or what, but yeah, it was about 24 hours, and they came back with that. Personally, not opposed to being yeah, here, like use these guys. Admittedly, I'd want to try them out first and be like, how legit are you? Like, what is the turnaround time? I think their like turnaround time they said was like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But comes in a pack, comes in like all sorts of stuff. And admittedly, they were all wearing them. I was like, wow. Whenever we got on the call, I was like, oh, you're all wearing your stuff. Good for you. And so, but no, they're a pretty chill group of guys. They're a bunch of dudes. They're just kind of making this happen. So things to look at. We don't have to make any choices on that right now.
As long as we feel comfortable with them being like they're an honest group to work with, I'd say it's fine. But I don't like if we feel uncomfortable with them and we don't think they're being totally legit. I don't want to put our name associated with theirs.
Yep. And then I am like I want to wait. Like if Nate, like for me, if Nace puts them onto their partnership list, for me that's kind of enough.
Yeah.
Especially because whatever it was, NCE already has them like listed on there. Though their website kind of sucked. Let's see, who was it? They have it listed of like, oh, we're partnered with blah blah blah. I thought maybe, or I was just like in the wrong spot. I thought they did. Oh yeah, NECC. So yeah, the NECC light was kind of meh. Oh, did I not? Oh, I'll share. Sorry, I thought I shared that with you, dude. Oh, did you use your? No, okay, whatever. Okay, welcome back. Info session for schools. That's next I have on my list. What day?
I got a strong, hey, could you guys do it the 17th of January so we got a month before the season starts from Boise?
I think that's great. Honestly, the like a month before, I think that's not a bad idea at all.
It's the week after winter break comes, or 2 weeks after winter break comes back, which is perfect because that gives people enough time to,
Settle
remember how to school. And then, and then it's that Wednesday after the 17th. So I was like, yeah, I'll pitch that. I like that because my goal is we have that. Then it's like, the next 3 weeks, you have time to run tryouts and get your teams in order and make sure you have your equipment ready, and then the season starts. And that's enough time to be like, hey, I totally forgot to add, Tim Puck to school. Can we add them to the league? And they have enough time. So yeah.
Perfect. All right. So, you said, I'm looking at December. January 17th?
Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Okay. Let's just go this way. Would you like to make a motion? Actually, let's just make a time too. Let's do the time. Let's just try and put everything in there. How about time? Like what we do now?
4:30.
4:30 you guys, 3:30 me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 4:30 p.m. All right. All right. Can I hear a motion for it?
Second
it.
Okay. Moving to second that we have our welcome back to information school session for schools. That was totally English. January 17th at 4:30 p.m. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Okay, so January 17th at 4:30 p.m. will be our back to school or welcome back info session or welcome to the group info session. Do we want? Yeah. Welcome to IEA. Some things I kind of was thinking about when I was talking about what we want to cover. A little bit for the new guys, what we are, and then who we are, and how IEA is kind of a change from, I think, what we originally started as a little bit. Just because now we're a nonprofit, we have to follow certain requirements, and so we've had to adapt a little bit, like how we originally set up. And so we're not just, so I think just a little bit of that of like, hey, this is what we are, this is how we operate, this is who we are. If you're interested, this is what's going on. My big thing was creating a change log of what new games we have and what new game times there are, and our two leagues, which sounds like it's going to be Mountain Time and Pacific Time. Our new rules, our new website, the new platform. So there's kind of like there's a lot of new stuff that we got going on, and just kind of, hey, just it's a, we call it the MRI, most respectful interpretation. Like always try and go with the most respectful interpretation of what's going on, and just kind of selling that to everybody. Nate, a welcome what to expect pamphlet. Love it.
Yeah, so again, another request from Boise. They were like, "Hey, like, can you maybe do a write down of like how to run tryouts and what to look out for in tryouts and things like that?" So I was like, you know what, that's actually a really good idea just to do a blanket send out. So I'm gonna create a Canva kind of pamphlet handout type deal of like, all right, here's when the info session is. Here's the kind of I'm gonna go over like here's the information you're gonna get on that session. Here's what week January whatever to February 10th what that looks like. Tryouts. Here's what they look at tryouts. Okay, here's how the first couple weeks gonna go. Chaos. Week week 3 through 4 a little less chaotic. Week 5 through 6 you're gonna figure out how these things work and then the season ends. And
Yep.
then here's how districts is gonna work and here's how state's gonna work. Just a little thing, that a PDF type deal that we could just send out to everybody that's going to be nice and fun and very pretty. That way we could just send that of like, here's what to expect and here's some tips for first time coaches.
Right.
Because Boise School District, like I said, they're bringing in all those people, and I know they're not the only new schools that are added this is their first year coaching esports in general / first year in the league, and they may have esports experience, but here's what to expect with our league and how it runs, and re-hammer in that, hey, it's a homegrown league, be flexible with everybody.
Yeah.
If you're not ready by 3:30 and you need to start at 3:40, it's not the end of the world. Just communicate, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
things like that. So and if you want to, Dalton, if you want to maybe send, what do you want me to hit on League OS? So that
Okay.
way, just like,
Yeah.
here's what League OS is for, so
Right.
you know what it's for, type deal. So, but yeah, I think just kind of having a breakdown of here's what a season looks like for you, that is easy literature to hand out to any school and be like, pass this along to anyone who's interested as well, and maybe they can start something up. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then if we can set that up in a way that they could be separated at some point in time, just because one big giant document can be overwhelming for people.
Totally.
So if we're like, oh, here's how to get your team started. Here's how to join.
Yeah.
Join IEA, because that's always the
Yeah.
thing. Like, how do we join you guys? We're like, congratulations, you're in.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, send me an email and I'll put your picture on the website.
Yeah, that's pretty much the requirement.
So yeah, that'll rock with that. So.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I like that. Any other content, especially like, I mean, you're new. What things would be helpful? I don't know.
Do we plan to have like a Q&A session?
Yeah, I'd imagine that it just becomes such a. I think we make sure that if we're doing this, we have a designated Q&A.
Would it be helpful to run 2 separate meetings, one for the middle school, one for the high school teams, or put them all in one blanket?
I feel if they're all in one blanket, it's a little easier, just because there's not like the difference is the games. Like,
I would say,
but we don't have
keep
games. We don't have game specific people like that can just handle everything. Is the kind of thing. Like my thoughts, like breakout sessions. That's great because that way we can just you're gonna go to your game specific chats. You can jump into blah blah blah. But that we don't have that. So.
I was thinking for the Q&A, we make them like type it into the chat, and then we just go from top to bottom instead of having people try to shout it out. I think that would be.
And I
chaos.
like the method, and I got to figure out how to make this work in Google Meets with all of our settings. Of like the 4 of us, basically, maybe not even the 4 of us, are like unmuted, and then like one of us is just watching the chat and can help answer questions, or multiple of us are watching the chat and just can answer those questions. And then if we get to a pause, hey, we do have a question. It's blah blah blah.
And we can have a running Google sheet with just the questions that are, hey, here are the questions that maybe we should address during the Q&A section, and then quick address the ones that can just be slammed out in chat. So
and then we can actually, I can make pretty easily a page as well on Idaho Esports that's just, hey, here's a bunch of questions that we've had in the past, and here's our
The
answers.
FAQs. Yeah.
And not even necessarily FAQ, just Qs.
Use. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Anything else on our info session? Like, I think that's pretty generic right now, but I think we can build out a couple documents of just like, hey, let's cover, this
Maybe
is what this.
last touch on that is by then having the YouTube page flushed out with the how-to videos.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
There's a few
And
on
I
there
could-
right now.
and I could help out with that. And I think yeah, we could get to that later on, but I think something like Apex, they don't need to know how to because I think we're just gonna have enough teams for one lobby,
Okay.
and I could just run that on a separate PC and just host that every week type deal. So
Okay.
maybe someone will complain about host advantage, but sad.
Right.
Complain more.
YouTube, Twitch. What else do we
Be
have?
good, scrub.
X. And I never do anything on Facebook, but
Yeah.
I also am really bad at this. Let me know if you want the passwords, and you can totally plug stuff because I'm not great
No.
with socials. Cool. All right. Next thing I got down is invoicing. How do we want to handle it? There's a Stripe integration. There's a PayPal integration. I don't know what other integrations we would possibly want to use. They're both roughly the same in terms of fees if people are paying online with a credit card. I haven't checked out Square. And Square would be nice because they have a physical device. And so if we had a Square thing at State because people are paying for their shirts or whatever that is, that way it's all in just one account.
Also, I think if we're going to take invoicing electronically, we should offer PayPal and Square because I know a lot of schools are already going to have Square.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
and they all are going to have a PayPal. They probably won't have a Stripe.
Okay.
So it'll be easier for them to pay electronically that way. So at least my business team would thank me if we could use PayPal. So. Hey guys, I have to actually hop off.
Yep, no good.
If that is okay.
Yep.
So, see you all
Oh,
next
wait.
time.
Actually, before you go, Nate,
Oh yes.
bank account?
Haha. End of December. I don't know,
That's-
Mitch, if you're in the same
That's,
boat.
that's
but-
kind of a part of the whole PayPal Square
yeah,
Stripe is I need
yeah.
one.
So I will make sure. My goal next week is finals week.
Okay.
And so my goal is to try to stop after some of the finals. So,
Okay. Copy that.
yeah. If I'm not,
Same.
if I don't have it next week, yell at me and I'll get it done that
Copy.
week after.
Copy that.
All right.
All right.
Later, guys.
See ya.
Good talking to you.
Bueno.
See ya.
All right. When do we get an invoice? Is my question.
We talked about, I had this question actually at the last meeting. We talked about doing it in week 2. So like week 1, we allow kind of as a trial week. So, and then if a team's like, yeah, this is definitely not for us, we do not want this, that we're not asking them to pay for the season, but before their week 2 game, it needs to be paid.
Yeah.
So we send out the invoice, but we just have the due date being. So the due date being week 2.
Yeah. We could send it out like the week before the season starts.
Yeah,
That
then
would
they
give them like a 2
2
week
weeks.
period to get done.
Yeah, and then if they're like, oh, we don't have enough kids, we can drop them and we can modify that invoice.
Yeah. Remove
Mhm.
a game registration or 2 or whatever.
Yeah. I don't. Does that seem chaotic if they're like suddenly just like, oh, actually, we're gonna drop these teams? Like, I don't want to be dealing with refunds and stuff like that.
What if we were to do
Send out
Like
the week
we-
of and then due date week 3.
well, I was thinking if we have them get numbers to us 2 weeks before that they need to go out. So we can make all the invoices and then they can change their numbers with us up until the invoice is sent. And then once it's sent, that's their invoice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. Get team registration numbers 2 weeks before.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Where does that put us though? If we're starting
around January 17th.
yeah, if we're starting the 12th, then the 29th, they got to get us the information the 29th, which
Yeah, and
is
that'd be enough time. Be about
a
10 days
week-
after that
a week
meeting.
and a half.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we'll all be at IETA for the, what is that, the
First week
17th.
of, yeah.
7th, 8th, 9th. So, yeah, there'll be time to invoice then. Send them out, get paid by the
19th would be the start of week 2 if we want it at the beginning of the week.
get team registrations number 2 weeks before. Can change. Do we go? I almost like going halfway. I mean, you get half of the season for free if you just drop after week 3. If we
Well, I guess the
start
question
at week
becomes,
3,
does it cost us money to support them up until week 3?
no.
Then I think, yeah, I'd be okay with letting them go till week 3 if we wanted to do that instead.
Yeah.
Like we're at the end of week 3, beginning of week 4 or something. If we want to give them a half the season, just in case, as kind of their trial period.
Yeah. Due date end of. Actually, what is that? Where does that give us then? If we're
1st of March is the end of week 3.
I actually kind of like that better. I think a lot of schools like to have a bit of time to build out their payouts. And so, especially end of the month, I think sometimes they really like that.
Mhm.
So due date, last day of week 3.
Mitch, you don't look like you agree. Do you have thoughts?
No, I'm good. No, I agree.
Okay. So due date last day of week 3. Send out the week before competition. Oh wait, no. Let's send it out the week of competition.
The original invoice.
Yeah. That way they've this is what we're starting with. Week of week 1. I mean there'll be chaos for. Actually, I guess technically this might go to Mitch because he's the secretary treasurer, if I remember right.
Yeah, but hopefully
handle
in
this.
the years to come it'll go better.
Yep. Well, and all the checks are going to me, so that'll be fun. Okay. And we need to get. And I think if we do this team registration number 2 weeks before, we can figure out what schools need. I'm working. I think I did the W-9 correctly. I think. So that school districts can pay us because they like that. So, yeah. All right. So I'll look into if Square can accept PayPal or if PayPal can accept Square and figure that out. I'll look into Square invoicing as well, see if that's even a thing. I know PayPal has it. I like the idea of Stripe and Square because Stripe at least had it for being able to put in items. So you could be like, oh, a Rocket League registration and a blah, blah, blah. PayPal was line by line. I'm like, I don't want to enter these individually. So I think Square would have the same ability. So I'll look into that.
Yeah, if we were to put it in as products, Square should be able to do the same thing.
Yep. Okay. I guess we still have majorities, so do we want to go with this as being invoice, the get team register? I just totally switched these up. This is going to drive me nuts if I don't fix this. Okay. Delete. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so get the team registration numbers 2 weeks before so that we can kind of get everything set up. Send out the invoices week 1 and have the due date be the last day of week 3.
Okay.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Okay. Next thing that's come across my desk was starting the licensing process. I think we should do it. I don't know if we should do it necessarily this season. just based off some of the stuff that I think we have to deal with. Um,
Like licensing our image and name and stuff.
yeah, and like formal agreements and all that blah de blah. For me, it's just I don't necessarily know everywhere to look, and so I feel like it'd be yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Is like yes, I'd love to get all of this formalized, though most of the stuff I think we're still small enough in most capacities that we fall under the community tournament guidelines. Um, it's just some of the stuff, we'd have to comply with. It's nothing bad, but it's just stuff that we'd have to okay, be cognizant of and work through, and just make sure that we're
Mhm.
following all of the requirements. Um, so just things to look for. So I found Nintendo. I think it'd be good if we can find stuff on Epic, and then probably Blizzard, who's now owned by Microsoft, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Valve we need to reach out to. I don't know anyone in any of these locations, but
Riot Games as well for
Riot.
Valorant and
Yep.
League.
And did I ever tell you that there's the ability to get all champions unlocked, the champ unlock feature?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
cool.
was going to ask you to resend that information to me because I seem to have misplaced it.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it. My district is just always gets it, so I had a kid sign in. It's like, what? We're getting extra experience and all the champions unlocked. I'm like, yeah. And so
Right.
it does nothing for Valorant, but yeah, and you can just
Mhm.
apply it to your entire IP, your district's entire IP address. Okay, cool. All right, so we talked about bank account, how neither of you got that done yet. We
Thursday. Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Mitch. Next
That's a little bit like shots fired there.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the straight up date on there. 12/21 cap. No, take that off. These are official documents. We said crash course meeting. I don't know if I put that on there. Don't really know what I was talking about. I think it was literally the welcome back info session. Or was that someone else? Anyone else put that on there?
Wasn't me.
Okay. Cool. David, I don't know if you're actually listening to us, but this is the time for public comments, if you should have it.
I actually have been listening. It's
Okay, cool.
it's kind of cool to see what you guys are up to and doing, and kind of getting a feel for how this is growing and evolving, and it's really cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Any questions for us as a board?
I actually do. In looking through some of the stuff on the, and I forget the name of the platform, it has one competition day, and on the website it has a different competition day for a couple of the games.
Okay.
As we were trying to line out our spring schedule, we were curious as to where those dates actually lined up, and I figure that's just a transcription error somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
But I did have one specific question. I have a couple special ed kids who are participating in what we do. And these are like mobility limited kind of things.
Okay.
And we were going to have them participate in the JV team.
Okay.
I coached basketball for a few years, and we had what was called the fifth quarter, where it was an opportunity for the kids who didn't normally get to play, give them a chance to compete in not necessarily meaningful, but at least structured playtime and things like that. And I didn't know if we would be able to have exceptions or something like that where we could better involve the special ed community in what we do.
Yeah. So one thing that actually I've been working on is I think they called it. I think it's called Unified Esports. I know a
Yep.
few groups in the region have been kind of asking about it. I think what did they use? I think it was Mario Kart.
Mario Kart and Rocket League were the ones that have been done lately. Some of the participants that we've had wanted to do Smash Brothers.
Okay.
So whether it was we just let them go first and our team has quote unquote 4, because to be completely honest, while she has a blast playing,
Oh,
she's not necessarily a quality competitor, and it's fairly evident that going up against competition, it will be it wouldn't be something that we would want scored, but we just want them to continue to be part of what we do.
No, 100% agreed. I'm just making this and mark this down. Request.
Sure.
Just so I don't forget it, because if I don't write it down, it will be forgotten.
It's just like me. I get it.
Done before. And so, yeah, like I said, we actually did get Doc Haskell out of Boise connected us with the state Special Olympics, or whatever they're called right now, coordinator.
Yeah, Special Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and our school does a lot with them. We just
Okay.
didn't know if this was something that they were going to do this outside of normal competition, or if this would be something where I could petition the coaches that we're playing against if we just had, the first character for our JV is X or Y, and then after that we get into our real ones where it doesn't actually count, the scoreboard resets, and then the kids go into it.
Okay.
So that's what basketball did for 5th quarter.
Yeah. I mean, I'm behind it.
Yeah,
I
I'd
would,
love to do
and
something.
I would. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a coach that would be like, no, unless they're under like a time restriction and they're like, we literally just need to get this done.
I completely understand, but I also feel it's something that if the conversation is had, it provides the ability for others to, talk to their schools, and our goal is to play nice in the sandbox.
Right. Yeah. No. Agreed. Ability during events to have a. I'm just gonna put it. It's like this on count round.
Yep.
And then Rocket League. Yeah. No, I think that'd be super awesome, and I would love to put together like an actual event type thing where it does.
Yep.
It does count. We do a kind of modified Special Olympics type thing here, and I think everyone has a blast. I actually have a meeting on that next week. And then I do know, I think one school, I don't know if maybe it was you guys or someone else that actually did put on an event for this. Yeah, no, I think they'd be down.
Yeah, it's just it's a different way to approach the inclusivity of what esports can bring to all of what people do. So
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
good times, and I think that if you guys do your IETA thing, there'll be some others of us there. If you guys were to set a time, you guys could do like a dinner thing, or hey, we're going to go out and do appetizers after these sessions, if all the coaches wanted to get together and just have that proximity camaraderie kind of thing.
Let's all go to the space bar.
Something like that.
I don't know if you've been there. It is epic. It's a bunch of retro arcade games and beer
Nice.
and
I don't know,
Well,
man.
that's just ducks in a barrel now.
so cool. Yeah, thanks
Well,
for
good. I
joining
appreciate all
us
the. No, my pleasure. Thank you guys for all you're doing. I know it's got to be 19 different headaches and everything else, and I, from the coach's standpoint, appreciate what you guys are doing.
Yeah, sweet. Good to hear it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
All right, team. My team's wrapping up. Sorry this went so long. I think we got some good stuff done though.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have anything in executive session, so we can just skip that unless we need to go talk in private. I don't think we do though. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
A second.
Second.
All right. Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. All right. Ayes have it. All right. We'll come up with another date that we meet up. Do we want to try and meet before? I'll stop the recording.